Welcome back to my garden. Today is June 15th, and this is my new island, Vancouver Island garden, completely not finished. Um, Showing here all the work in progress. I still have a ton of vegetables that need to find home. It's actually not vegetables. Well, there's some peppers and a few other things like chamomile and stuff that need to find their way to the garden. However, we are still working through the last two raised beds. And according to my husband, the first one here is going to be finished today, so I can fill it up with soil and start planting some of the things that immediately need to go in. And then hopefully in a day or two, we are also going to finish the long one in the back. And then I will be completely officially finished and I can start planting while he finishes up the fence. One of the struggles that I've had was that one of my dogs loves to get zoomies and runs in straight into the garden, trying to get away from my other dog who loves to chase him when he gets zoomies. So needless to say, there were a few casualties that I had in the garden. But yeah, I wanted to just record this because I haven't had the video, haven't made a video in a long time. So I'm just gonna quickly do this for my own sort of memories, so I know where it all started. I'm so excited to be growing in this much space. Never had this much space in a garden before, so I want to make sure that I document things through the process as much as I can. So I'll just go around here. I do have much more sunflowers that need to go in, and I'll go over there quickly. But these ones are snag seed sunflowers. So I have a couple of them here, and then there are a couple of teddy bear sunflowers in other corners, and I'll be planting some more on the other side so that they don't shade everything else in front of them. I sowed a few different carrots here, so the seedlings are just coming out. We've had a really nice hot weekend. By the way, these are chamomile. This one looks like it's doing pretty good. I'm not sure about these. They just essentially have been in little pots for super long, so we'll see what happens with them. Whether I am picking some flowers already, but nothing that I compared to what I envisioned. Obviously I started so many chamomile plants, but unfortunately everything took a little bit longer due to trouble with the soil, and now the raised box is not being finished, raised beds, but it is what it is. I am extremely happy with how everything else is growing, so there's no need to harp on some of the setbacks. But speaking of setbacks, because I had issues with the soil and I contacted the seller of the soil that I got, they did, even though technically the way they explained it wasn't really their fault. The soil is really good, which I do believe that I have amazing soil here. It's organic vegetable soil that I got. However, they did feel bad that my plants suffered a setback, so they brought me 7 different varieties of tomatoes because my tomatoes got hit the most previously. So, which is really exciting because none of these, some of them are quite rare, I guess. I kind of Googled all of them, and none of these have ever grown before. So it's kind of excited. And some of them are cherry, some are paste tomatoes, and some are some are determinate and indeterminate, so it's a good mix. So these 3 are the 3 of the 7. I can see that one over there, and it's called Brad's Atomic Grape. So this is a grape, which is not something that normally would grow. Pink Fang, and I have like a whippersnapper, which is just a small sort of containers, patio tomato, whatever you would call it, with a lot of fruit on it already. Interplanting a lot of calendula. This is just still gonna come out. I just planted these 2 and a couple more, another one here last night. I have some winter squash already started here. There's a teddy bear sunflower. This is one of my tomatoes that I've grown for the past few years, Subarctic Plenty. I have a new kind of bean that I'm growing here on this side. It's a purple bean. What is it called? Velour. A few of them didn't germinate, but I also did have my dog jump into this bed, so who knows, maybe he just squashed the little seedlings as they were trying to emerge. I'm not sure. Borage, I'm keeping those in pots. There's a couple more pots in the middle, and that's simply because I just don't want to take up space in my garden, but I do want to attract pollinators, so this works well for me. My tomatoes did really bounce back nicely. I doubt I'm gonna get as big of a harvest from them as I thought I would initially, but they did bounce back, and they're all they all survived. So everything here is grown from seed by me. I didn't buy one single plant other than the ones that I got from the soil provider. So there's a couple of different types of beans here, and the ones around the obelisk are pole beans, while these and the purple ones are bush beans. A phlox flower, which I tried growing last year and it didn't really work out for me, but it's growing nicely this year. There's another one in different color here. Oh, I just noticed that I have a handle showing in a video. Just quickly moving along. Another new thing for me is okra. And I noticed there is a flower. I'm not sure how much okra I'm gonna get, to be honest, because the flowers or the plants did suffer due to the fact that it took me forever to plant them out. They are trying to bounce back. This one is really badly covered with aphids. I saw some sort of hoverfly or something trying to, I think, eat those. So hopefully, and it's the only one out of all of them that has aphids. But just as a insurance against disease and stuff, I did plant some more seeds yesterday because they are quite quick to harvest. So hopefully, if not these plants, it's gonna be the succession that is going to survive. Another teddy bear sunflower in a corner. And I did tuck in some seeds of nasturtiums, and this is one of the problems that I'm having this year, which is, I guess it's like a thing. It's okay have this problem, I guess. I'm just not used to having this many different sort of pests eating my stuff. Like, as an example, my watermelon here already got nibbled on. I'm trying to do beets that already look completely eaten. There's a cantaloupe over there somebody tried to have, and it so goes on with other plants throughout these beds, which is pretty crazy. But and radishes as well. Just trying to grow some more radishes, and these two were still okay by yesterday, and it looks like whoever it is that's eating them found this little batch too. This tomato here, it's Sungold. Sungold are nice and tall. I think the tallest of them all. And Brandywine Red is another tall one here. But yeah, they're all kind of survived. The peppers are doing amazing. There's one really long one here. So I think we're gonna have a really good year for peppers. I know the best one I've ever had, that's for sure. So very exciting about that, even though we had the setback. So here's some more of the plants that are still waiting to be put into the new beds, and hopefully I'll get a chance to plant at least these ones tonight still. Here we have my eggplant. This is just a little lettuce that I planted. I'm having a hard time with germination. Recently I was trying to do some succession sowing, but I was planting in what I usually use, which is the Pro Mix, and the germination's been spotty, and it's not just the lettuce or whatnot. There's a couple of different things, so I'm still trying to figure out what it is, whether it's temperatures or just I don't know, but I keep trying because I do realize that I need to get used to the conditions and everything here on the island. As we came from Edmonton, the conditions are totally different from growing for growing. So there's probably a lot of stuff that I don't know what I'm doing wrong or whatnot, that I just need to learn and get used to. Some of the basil's doing really good, probably the best basil I've had ever. And as an example, this one was almost done when I first planted it, when I had all the soil issues, but it kind of bounced back from the base and from the top. Even though it's kind of laying on the ground, it's still bouncing back. So I've been picking so much basil and parsley and oregano, all of the herbs and thyme, everything here grown from a seed, and yeah, I've been really enjoying that in food already. Plus, like I said, collecting some chamomile flowers and also calendula, so much more than last year. So all in all, very excited. These are little lavenders, and I have a couple more on the deck that I'm growing into a standard, just for fun. And then there's 2 more borage here. So yeah, this is mostly herbs here, plus a couple of extra peppers still. We've got lemongrass over here and calendula and thyme and a couple of different parsleys throughout the garden and oregano, rosemary over there. And I try to mirror that really in this box as well. I have the rosemary and parsley here. The cucumbers finally bounced back because they were kind of slow to start, but once it really warmed up and the nights warmed up, they have really started to grow and put on a couple of new leaves and a little bit of height, so it's all good. And I have a couple of different ones. The double yield is the one that I've grown before and I wanted for pickles, so I think these 3 plants around are those, and I think I have only 1 English cucumber, and I'm growing a succession of plants by the greenhouse in the other area to put into the other boxes. These I grew straight in the ground here. These are just some bunching onions. Like I said, I have a cantaloupe here. Maybe I'll leave this one. Here's a little green pepper that's doing pretty good. And the eggplants, best ever. Mint, I'm keeping in bags because don't want it to take over my flower beds. Here's a couple of raspberry plants that I got on Marketplace, and this is another phlox pot that is doing really good, and some sweet peas in there. I've never been able to figure out what this is, and I keep picking them because it doesn't look like foliage of a sweet pea, but yet I tend to get these when I grow sweet peas from seed, and I have no idea what they are. So if anybody's watching this video, got this far and knows what that is, please let me know. Moving on to this, we do have some more tomatoes, some more peppers, some of them doing really good. Here's some more of the green. These are California Wonder. Even though it's marked as jalapeno early, I must have misplaced or mixed up the tags. This one definitely a jalapeno. And then there's, I think I have 6 or 7 different types of peppers here. So yeah, tomatoes bounce back good. Everything is good. And the spinach, the little spinaches, they're bolting. I try to pick some of those leaves, and also they have been nibbled by some creatures, which is fine, and as well as the nasturtium here got nibbled. And so then the last box here, ground cherries. I'm really starting to like the flavor of ground cherry. I'm waiting. Oh, there. Since it fell open, fell to the ground. Oops. Again. This one doesn't have the right color yet, but it is already tasty. Yeah, so some radishes that got eaten by something. More basil, more pepper. There's some different peppers here. And then my peas. I planted my amaranth went way too early, but I still planted it out. And next year I have to remember my last frost date and all of that, so I don't plant it so early, because it should be a much bigger plant at this point, but it got stunted in little pots, and then it just went straight to flower. So these are all starting to branch out, but they're also trying to put on flowers, so it's just gonna, I think they're gonna put much more in terms of growth. But it is what it is. I'm doing best I can in this new garden of mine, and that's about it. Yeah, I think there's more carrots that I'm actually growing in that row over there, just along the edge of the bed. Maybe I'll quickly, oh, and this one, this is quite cool. A new type of marigold that I'm trying to grow. I think it was called Polar Bear or Polar Ice, and it starts off kind of yellow, but it opens up fully to almost like a white, and quite bigger than regular. I only have 2. I planted more, but the rest didn't make it through like all these months that I had to have them in little pots. But I have 2, which is great. So yeah, I'm going through my construction project. Everything's under construction. These are super cute. These snapdragons that I have planted from seed. First year ever that I planted snapdragons, and I really like each plant, totally different color, very cute. This rose we bought, it's called Golden Showers. It smells really nice, and yeah, looking forward for it to climb this, hi baby, climb this arbor, as well as the wisteria here, which is called Blue Moon, and it's got lavender purple, light purple flowers. So hopefully it's supposed to probably bloom up to 3 times a year, so maybe we'll get a bloom from it this year. We'll see. This is a new fig that I got on Marketplace, and it's called Dalmati. And then that one is the one that I bought at very early, my first thing that I think I bought here on the island when we moved, and it kind of suffered a little bit of frost damage. That was my fault. I didn't know that it hasn't been hardened off, because when I bought it, it was just a Canadian Tire outside, so I figured, okay, well, it's good to stay outside, but once the frost came in, not so much. So my fault. I'm not sure if we're gonna get fruit from it, but this one will, and already has. And then quickly, I have some zucchini already. I hand pollinated it, and this one is different. So I never had this on a zucchini, and I don't know if it's because it's the kind of zucchini, but it grows up to 2. Actually, this one had 2, but I think I saw one that had 3 male flowers on one stalk. So I don't know if there's something funky going on with my soil that made zucchinis grow like this, or this is a different type of zucchini, and it's natural and it grows like that by itself. I've never seen it before, and I've grown zucchinis many times, different sort of varieties. So yeah, it's just another one of those new things. And yeah, so this is the rest of my seedlings trying to survive in little pots. I've repotted them so many different times, and just keep watering it and hoping to start planting some of them soon. What can I say here? The potatoes are almost ready to harvest. I think that one bag pretty much is. I was watering them this morning, and I could see one potato starting to come out. I think they're just like pushing out of the bag at this point. They didn't flower, but I know once I harvested potatoes when they didn't flower and they were just fine. So I don't know if it just depends on varieties. Some of them you have to wait for flowers, some of them don't, but yeah. We'll probably bust into this bag next time we have time for some young potato home-cooked meal. Or not time, but plan, because we always home cook. Anyway, I've got some carrots growing here, and they're looking good. I was staining them yesterday. They're starting to create, I think they're called shoulders. So that's great. And one of the tomatoes that I planted early before I even started building the garden was this one, and it's doing really well. It's a subarctic plany. They're nice and round. So that's the one that got lucky, put in a bag. And then here's my new succession plants already coming out. So more zucchini, cucumber. I've got some new variety of kale that I bought new seeds. I have leeks, which I'm trying to do for the first time ever, and cabbage as well. And other than that, it's just Swiss chard, trying to have another succession, and spinach and stuff like that. The spinach is actually over there. I'm keeping it out of the sun because it's so quick to bolt. And that's about it. Yeah, and this is all just a mess, nothing really to see. I'm excited about these two dahlias because I bought the tubers, and it's supposed to be the Cafe au lait and another one. I don't remember the name, but it was like a purple one. So yeah, excited. And I topped one, and then I saw on YouTube you can just like take the cutting and then plant it. So that's what I did with this one. So hopefully, it's been like 2 weeks and it still looks nice and green, so I'm hoping it's reviving and actually growing roots, forming roots and stuff. So that's cool. So maybe I'll have one more plant out of this. This rhodo needs to go on the ground, so once all the garden stuff is finished, I'll be able to start resuming on like creating the pathways and stuff like that with the stepping stones. And the rhodo is gonna go somewhere in here. I'll just have to kind of lift the rocks and plant it in here. This is my plan to kind of have different evergreens, flowering trees or shrubs growing along the driveway here, but that's in the future. Oh, and echinacea is not doing really well for me. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's the soil or my lack of watering or overwatering, but it's just I'm not having luck with these. I'm pretty sure this one's completely gone. These two are trying to hold on for their dear life, while that one is actually growing a new leaf. But so was the case like 3 times over now. This is the first time ever I'm trying to grow echinacea from seed, and just have to figure out what I'm doing wrong, I guess. And maybe try again, maybe try planting a few more seeds. I have to see if it's not too late in a season to do so for next year. We'll see. And then yeah, this dahlia, this flower is very small and kind of stunted looking. I did have one big one before, but it has many buds, so I think I need to fertilize it too. And that's about it. So I'm just gonna turn around. Construction, no one needs to see it. And there's my garden. Bye.